If you're watching this right now, a broken bar, stay till the last line, because the moment the billionaire CEO opened his mouth to mock the janitor in Japan, he had no idea he was about to expose his own heart. And if this story moves you even a little, make sure you like this video and subscribe so we can keep bringing you stories that hit straight in the heart. It all began on a rainy Tuesday morning, when Takumi Sato, one of the most feared and respected CEOs in Asia, decided to make an unannounced visit to the new corporate headquarters in the city. People whispered when he walked by. They straightened their backs, fixed their shirts, rehearsed their greetings. They all knew the billionaire's standards were impossible. He demanded perfection in every corner of his company, from the top executives to the silent workers whom no one noticed, except one, a quiet janitor named Amir. Amir had been sweeping the same floors for 3 years. He kept his head low, always polite, always soft-spoken, always unseen. People assumed he knew little English, perhaps spoke with difficulty, and so they never bothered to ask. They just talked around him about work, about life, about promotions, and never realizing he listened with a heart that had been broken and rebuilt 100 times. That morning, when Takumi arrived, the halls froze. The CEO toured the facility like a storm, pointing out flaws, demanding explanations, correcting, scolding, tightening. He was brilliant, yes, but harsh. People feared him more than they admired him. And then, he spotted Amir. The janitor was mopping a small puddle by the elevator, completely harmless, completely focused, completely invisible to everyone but the billionaire, who suddenly stopped walking. The executives stiffened. They knew what was coming. Takumi despised anything or any that made the building look imperfect. He looked at Amir up and down, judging his old uniform, the faded name tag, the tired shoes. Then, assuming the janitor wouldn't understand a word, he said in fluent Japanese, "Another useless worker. Look at this mess. Probably doesn't even know what he's doing." A few nervous chuckles erupted behind him, forced, uncomfortable, scared. But Amir didn't even glance up. He finished squeezing the mop, pushed it forward one more time, and then a broken bar finally looked the CEO in the eye. And in soft, flawless Japanese, he replied, "If there is a mess, sir, I clean it. That is my job. But disrespect a broken bar, even you cannot mop that away." The hallway turned silent. Every head jerked toward Amir. The billionaire CEO's eyes widened, the mocking smirk on his face disintegrating instantly. It felt like the ground shifted beneath him. He wasn't shocked because the janitor spoke Japanese. He was shocked because Amir's accent of broken bar was perfect, native. Takumi stepped closer, unsure, almost threatened. "Where broken bar, where did you learn to speak like that?" Amir lowered his eyes again and continued working. "Japan. I lived there many years." "What were you doing there?" Takumi asked, voice smaller this time. Amir hesitated. "Studying, working, living. Long time ago." That answer, though simple, carried a weight Takumi could feel. He dismissed his executives for the moment and followed Amir down the hallway. "Studying? Where?" he pressed. Amir didn't want to answer, but something in Takumi's tone, maybe guilt, maybe curious, that made him sigh. "Tokyo University." Takumi nearly choked. Tokyo University was Japan's most elite school. Even he had struggled to get in. "And what did you study?" he asked. "Engineering," Amir replied quietly. "Robotics." A few gasps slipped from passing employees. Takumi's world tilted. This janitor a broken bar, this man he mocked a broken bar, had a higher academic background than half of his executive board. "Why are you here?" Takumi finally asked, softer than anyone had heard him speak all year. Amir stopped mopping. The silence felt like a heavy curtain lowering between them. "Because life happens," Amir said, voice trembling with an emotion he desperately tried to contain. "Because sometimes you build everything a broken bar and it collapses in one moment." He swallowed hard, eyes glistening but steady. "I had a wife, a daughter, a job I loved, a future. But then an earthquake took my family, my home, my dreams. I could not stay in Japan after that. Every street reminded me of them, every sound, every season. I left. I started from zero. Again, Takumi's breath caught. He had lost his own parents in a tsunami when he was 12. He knew that pain of the kind that takes years from your life in 1 second. He wasn't looking at a janitor anymore. He was looking at a broken man who still chose to stand. The billionaire's voice cracked as he whispered, "Yeah, broken bar, I didn't know. You didn't ask." Amir said simply. Those 3 words hit harder than any insult. Over the next days, something extraordinary happened. Takumi visited Amir again, and again, and again. Sometimes he asked questions about robotics, sometimes about Japan, sometimes about life. Little by little, a bond formed, one built on pain, resilience, and the unspoken understanding shared by those who lost too much. The employees watched in disbelief. The cold-hearted saw a broken bar slowing down, softening, learning. One afternoon, Takumi invited Amir to the corporate lab on the top floor. "I want to show you something," he said. Inside was a prototype exoskeleton designed beautiful but flawed. "I've been stuck on the joint mechanics for months," Takumi confessed. "But when you mentioned your robotics to seize a broken bar, I kept thinking." Amir stepped closer. His eyes scanned the structure with the familiarity he hadn't felt in years. His fingers traced the metal, his breath stiffening. "You designed this?" he asked. "Yes," Takumi replied, "but it needs someone who actually understands robotics at the level you do." Amir looked up, startled. "See a broken bar? I'm just a janitor." Takumi shook his head firmly. "You're an engineer who life tried to bury. I'm giving you back your shovel." For the first time in 3 years, Amir's eyes filled not with sorrow or broken bar but hope. They spent weeks working together, rebuilding the joints, fixing the algorithms, rewriting the core movement logic, and slowly, something changed in both of them. Takumi learned humility. Amir rediscovered purpose. When the prototype finally walked smooth, stable, perfected, Takumi turned to Amir. "I want to offer you a position," he said, "not as a janitor, as head of robotics development." Amir covered his mouth with both hands, shaking. "Sierra broken Baria. This isn't charity," Takumi said gently. "This is recognizing talent we buried under assumptions." Amir cried openly for the first time since losing his family, and as the news spread, the entire company changed. People treated janitors, security guards, cafeteria workers, drivers, everyone with more respect, more kindness, more humanity, because they had witnessed what happens when you judge someone's worth by their uniform. Months later, Takumi stood on stage during the annual company summit. Next to him stood Amir, in a crisp suit, holding blueprints for innovations the world hadn't seen before. Takumi looked out at the thousands of employees and said, "Greatness doesn't always walk in wearing a suit. Sometimes as a broken bar it pushes him up." The hall erupted in applause. But Amir didn't hear the sound. He was thinking of his wife, his daughter, his past, and how somehow, life gave him a new purpose, a purpose he never expected, a purpose born the day a billionaire mocked a janitor in Japanese broken bar and froze when the janitor answered perfectly. If this story touched you even a little, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today, because you never know whose life your kindness might change next.